how did all this education for all begin? And where did it begin? Obviously, it began in the developed world, and it began as early as the 1960s. We shall now look at a few stages in this education for all movement and how it leads to where we are today. In 1960, the first convention against discrimination in education was held in Paris. Now, Paris is Europe, supposed to be the capital of the European continent. However, if they felt the need to bring in a conference on getting away with discrimination in education, how much more is it that we needed? 1960 is a good 50 years ago, and so if we learn from that experience, if we learn what the developed world has already learned, I think the Pakistani education system will be better. It didn't stop at 1960. The next key stage comes in 1979 with the United Nations Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women, and this was held at the UN in New York. So 1979, from Europe we moved to America, which is today the superpower of the world. And if they felt a need to have a convention on eliminating all discrimination against women, which included the discrimination in education, there is much to learn from that for us Pakistanis as well. The next step comes in 1990 with the World Declaration on Education for All in Jomtien, Thailand. So we see Asia taking a lead now, also learning from the developed world about discrimination against education, about the need for education for all, about discrimination against women. Asia steps in as Thailand hosts this particular World Declaration on Education for All. We need it too. In 1995, there is the Declaration and Platform for Action, Fourth World Conference on Women in Beijing, China. Again, another key country in the Asian continent. So with Asia stepping in, we could not be far behind. So there is lots for us to learn, not only from the developed world, but also from our neighboring countries in the Asian continent. Wherever we learn it from, the key thing is that we need to learn to provide education for all, even in Pakistan. Next comes 2000, the Millennium, the year when we change the century. Dakar Framework for Action, Education for All, Meeting Our Collective Commitments, World Education Forum, Dakar, Senegal. And with this, Africa steps into education for all. So as this movement spreads from Europe to the Americas, to Asia, to Africa, the world seems to be coming together, declaring education for all. All countries, all societies begin to see the need for education for all, and in their own way promote it through conferences, declarations, conventions, seminars, and other means. So as more of the world joins this education for all, it's time Pakistan did it too. Then in 2000 also was the United Nations Millennium Declaration, which again was held in New York. And this Millennium Declaration leads to, as we turned the century from the 20th to the 21st, it was seen as critical to make sure that education for all was on priority, was in the forefront, was in the front line. Otherwise, again, as we've seen over 20 centuries, education for all would not become a reality. In 2005, there was a plan of action for the World Programme for Human Rights Education, again held in the UN at New York. Human rights and education today is seen as a right for every child. So as we see more and more of the world coming together, claiming education for all, what can we do in Pakistan to make that a reality so that all our children will be going to schools and will be receiving quality education at all times.